Lord says it, I believe it, that settles it. Or so it has been preached. Is that accurate? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of the Torah portion, Tzaria. This word gives us the idea of conceiving seed. And yes, I am milking chapter number 12 pretty thoroughly so far this week. So let's go one more time to Leviticus for chapter number 12. And that first verse, it has the phrase, when a woman has conceived. The better accurate translation is when a woman has conceived seed. Hebrew word for seed is zera, Z-E-R-A, zera. When we see this word, it should take us back to Bereshit or Genesis chapter number 1, where it says in verse number 11, and Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the plant that yields zera, seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose zera, whose seed, is in itself and on the earth, and it came to be so. The principle that Yah is establishing for us is whatever houses the seed, the source of the seed, should also replicate then through the seed the same thing. Practically speaking, an apple. You have a red, delicious apple. The seed inside the red, delicious apple should reproduce the same variety, not just any common apple, not a Fuji or a Granny Smith, but a red, delicious. The seed that is inside the fruit should then replicate the fruit that housed it originally. So then, the seed of mankind has a seed. The male part of mankind has a seed. And from that seed, there should then come forth life, a replication of similarity to the one that housed the seed. Now, since the seed is transplanted, there are actually, over a period of time, 2 houses of the seed, and therefore similarities of both houses are in some means replicated into the resulting life. That's just Yah's design and his perfection. That's pretty obvious. Sometimes a child will look almost identical to the father or the mother, and you just look just like so-and-so. So it's obvious similar DNA strands are there. Very physical characteristics are passed on from one generation to the next. When it comes to the word, then we should understand that there is seed. Let's just put it that way. In Luke chapter number 8, let me see if I can get there. In Luke chapter number 8, Yeshua has given a parable, the parable of the sower who went out to sow his seed. And as he sowed, some fell on the wayside, it was trodden down, and the birds of the heavens devoured it. Others fell on rock, wherein it grew up, it withered because it had no moisture. Other fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it. And other fell on good soil and grew up and yielded a crop 100-fold. And having said this, he cried, he who has ears, let him hear. He then, as he is examined by his disciples as to the meaning of this parable, he makes a very plain statement in verse number 11. And this is the parable. The seed is the word of Elohim. When the seed, the word of Elohim, is housed in us, the fruit that results should, in some respect, replicate us. Are we sowing good seed, that is righteous, seed that is true, seed that is authentic? That is, we are sowing the seed that is the genuine word of Yah. And if so, then as that seed is housed in us, it should change us, so that we ourselves began to reflect the heart and the character of the one who is the seed, that is Yeshua. Yeshua is the word of Elohim. He is the seed. More on that in a moment. And so as that seed dwells in us, we should, theoretically at least, practically should be our desire that we replicate him. Sometimes the seed that we carry and then sow is hybrid seed. Not going down the trail of GMOs and hybrid seeds versus heirloom seeds. That's for another teaching later on, some other time. But just understand that there is at times a hybrid seed that is being sown by us. Hybrid in the fact that it reflects the heart of Yeshua, but it also reflects perhaps things such as our interpretation, our preference of understanding, our culture of understanding, our religious minds. All of these things and a list of others have an effect of hybridizing the seed. That is, that we take two strands and we mix them together to produce a different fruit. The point I'm making is the seed that we sow should reflect Yeshua and not us. Not any part of us necessarily, unless that part of us already reflects him. Now, Yah promised in Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter number 3, that there would be a conflict. And he talked about the seed of the woman, referencing Yeshua, how that Yeshua and the seed of the serpent were going to have a war. Now, we see the movies, we read the spiritual warfare books and novels and so forth, and it's all played out in the second heavens between demons or dark angels with swords and righteous angels with swords, and there's a battle and a conflict. And there may be some legitimacy to that to some degree. My eyes have not been opened to that realm that clearly. Certainly from Daniel chapter 10, there is a wrestling that is going on, a striving, a war that is taking place. But more often not, what we may be seeing is a war of seed, as in words. Whose words are we sowing? If we're sowing the word of Elohim, the word of Yeshua, then from that we understand it's not always going to be sown on good and productive soil. Matter of fact, 1/4 of the seed that was sown was actually productive. 3/4 of the seed had short-term life, or just got choked out, or had nothing to bear it whatsoever. Why is it that Hasatan's seed, his words, seem to be so much more fruit-bearing? Because they'll grow anywhere. And he'll come and sow his seed right in the middle of the field where we're sowing the seed of the word of Elohim. He is a thief. He is a robber. He will steal the ground. He will steal your productive soil. But he scatters his seed so much more fluidly and frequently, indiscriminately. And it sprouts up his weeds and poisonous plants everywhere. What seed's coming out of your mouth? Are you rehearsing the seed of the earth or the seed of the word of Elohim? Think on these things, and we'll talk again tomorrow. To then, shalom.